I'm going to go ahead and say this. This is ridiculous. Okay, I've been thinking about it in my head. I already made a video yesterday about the four playoff teams. Okay, well, let's look at the four playoff teams, huh? How about we do that? Bama, Ohio State, Clemson, Notre Dame. Actually, I don't remember if, like, was it Clemson that got the second spot just for winning the ACC? I don't know, right? I got a few things I want to discuss, right? I think all four of those teams, based on what they did this year, okay, give it to Ohio State. They played 8 games, whatever. They're like 9-0, counting the Big Ten win yesterday, Big Ten championship. You got to give them credit for that. I'm trying to wrap my head around this though. Okay, Bama wins the SEC, played 10 games plus the conference championship. Bama's in. We get that. They deserve that. I'm not even saying that because I'm an Alabama fan. Be real. Is Mac Jones pretty much everyone's Heisman choice right now? Is he lighting it up? Is that defense not getting better every week? I mean, okay, they slowed down in the second half against Florida, but outside of that, that Ole Miss game broke them. They seem to, just slowly get better each week, getting turnovers and stuff. But, let's move on past that real quick. Okay, so here's what you got. Here's who should be in, okay? The SEC champion, the ACC champion, the Big Ten, if they're undefeated or have one loss, which, by the way, it's already been proven you don't have to win your conference. You don't have to make your conference championship to get in the playoffs, but you should have to. At least a lot of people would believe that, and I might agree. But if the committee says you don't need to do that's fine. If they say we don't need all the conference champion, okay, I get it. I mean, the Pac-12 only played like 7 games. You gonna put that in there? No. The Big 12 is down this year. Take them out. I was sitting there yesterday watching these rankings unfold, right? You see the top 25, and of course, you finally get to the final four. It's not like they announce that at the end of the show. They announce it right away, and then they start talking about it, right? I saw Notre Dame get that fourth spot, and like I said, I'm an Alabama fan. I always have been. I always will be. That's something you're not taking away from me. I'm always going to love my Crimson Tide. I'm always going to pull for them, even as a sportscaster, right? But I'm going to sit here, be fair and unbiased. And quite honestly, just because of the past 3 years without a national title for Alabama, which is not really what you expect from them, Bama is expected to win the title every single year, right? Even on a down year. Nick Saban is just that kind of coach. Dabo Swinney is that kind of coach, right? So I'm really at the point, I really don't care what happens. I just, if Bama defense screws up somehow, but they pull it out in the championship, and they win it, just win it, Bama, just win it. Come on, I don't care. I don't care who you play. I don't care how you play it. Just win it. Hold the trophy up. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm just going to be real with you guys. But at the same time, man, take the Bama out of me real quick. Just be a college football fan, or maybe not even a fan. I'm sure there's some analysts that probably didn't say anything on there. I don't know. But this is ridiculous. This is straight ridiculous. A&M's sitting there at 5, right? A&M is sitting there at 5 right now, at home, scratching their heads still, wondering how they didn't get their foot in the door. They got their foot in the door to the playoff, but the door closed on their foot, and they said, "Hey, Notre Dame, how you doing?" Who just got blown out by Clemson in the ACC title game. Now you're going to look at A&M. Their one loss is Alabama in Tuscaloosa. That was like, I mean, pre-COVID, it would have been the game before the Iron Bowl in the regular season for Alabama, right? Plus all the other non-con games they had, whatever, right? But it was week 2, maybe like week 2, right? It was early on, and Bama beat them by like 28 points. Was it like 52-24, something like that, right? It was a blowout. That's their one loss, is a blowout to Alabama in Tuscaloosa early in the year. They had some close calls and some rough games, but they proved that they can compete and when the game's on the line or the going gets tough, the Aggies are going to be tougher. They're going to keep fighting. They're going to keep playing, right? They were right there. Jimbo Fisher, I was listening to his presser yesterday because coaches had like their press conferences after bowl selection and everything, and he said, "Yeah, we're kind of disappointed we didn't get in, but we're just happy to have the season that we did, and we're looking forward to a team like North Carolina or whoever we have to play in the bowl game." I don't remember if they had announced quite yet that A&M is playing North Carolina, but either way, he basically was like, it is what it is. I can't control it. I wish we got in. I think we deserve it. But we'll take whatever they give us. I guarantee you there's a small part of him, and I can't. All right, fine. Maybe I can't guarantee you. I don't know. But there's got to be a part of him that's like, that committee put Notre Dame over us. I mean, I just call it what it is. They got screwed out of the playoffs. I just keep thinking about it. It's crazy. Like, is this system broken? First off, the committee members have protocol. Conference champions, strength of record, strength of schedule, right? Who did you play? Who did you beat? And there's like certain tiebreakers or whatever. You got to look at like head-to-head competition. Well, Notre Dame didn't play anybody A&M did. A&M didn't play anybody that Notre Dame did, right? So head-to-head competition's out. Strength of schedule this year, well, it's conference only pretty much. I mean, Notre Dame had like one or two cupcakes outside of the ACC. That wasn't necessarily conference only for the ACC as a whole, but I mean, just compare those two conferences. Who's the better conference? You got teams of the ACC, Clemson, of course Notre Dame joins in this year, North Carolina, who the Aggies are going to play in a bowl game, who kind of disappointed this year. They really did. You got Wake Forest, you got Duke, Syracuse, Georgia Tech is in that conference as well, right? I'm not going to name every team, but you know who's in the ACC. Look at the SEC. Powerhouses. Bama. I know they're having a down year as the defending champs, but heck, throw them in there. LSU. Auburn. A&M, who we're trying to talk about here. Georgia. Florida. I just named about 5 or 6 different teams right there. That's at least better than the competition in the ACC, in my opinion. A&M had the tougher path, and they dominated it. They had some close calls, but they overcame that. Ever since Alabama lost, they've bounced back. Notre Dame goes undefeated. They lost to Clemson and got in the playoffs. Clemson's a great team. Everything Dabo's doing, we get all that. But was Clemson really at their best this entire year? Not really, but they weren't bad. Notre Dame beats Clemson in South Bend 47-40 in double overtime. Great game, right? Oh, well, Clemson didn't have Trevor Lawrence. If they had Trevor Lawrence, they could have, maybe. Yeah, I would probably agree. That's no excuse, though. I mean, DJ's an up-and-coming 5-star recruit, freshman, who has a lot of great potential, right? So you can't sit there and say it's because DJ played. It's because it's more so Trevor didn't. You know what I mean? Like, even with DJ, Clemson should have still found a way to maybe do a bit better job. Found a way to win. Don't blame it because you didn't have Trevor Lawrence because of COVID or whatever. Right? What's the better loss between these two teams? A game in Charlotte on neutral site to Clemson, or Alabama and Bryant-Denny in the regular season early on, right? Notre Dame lost late in the year. A&M lost early in the year. A&M lost on the road. Notre Dame lost on neutral site in a championship game. They didn't even win the championship. Granted, again, A&M didn't even make it, but that's because Alabama was in the way, who they lost to, but they bounced back from it. So, look, and again, I don't care all that much, but at the same time, it's just bothering me. Like, is this committee, like, the system in which they are selecting the fourth team or whatever, I mean, they're going to take the Big Ten champ. They're going to take the SEC champ. They're going to take Clemson or whoever wins the ACC as long as they're undefeated or have one loss. I mean, they won their conference. They're going to put conference champs in the playoffs, They're going to do that. Is this... I made a video a couple weeks ago, and people just are like, there's nothing wrong with the 4-team format, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I said this could be the year where it might look like we have to look at expansion for the playoffs because of all the teams in contention. You had Cincinnati, who's a group of 5 team, obviously, and this all kind of ties into something that I think, what's her name? Andrea Adelson or whoever put it out on ESPN this morning, right? Like, there was some stuff said in that article that said, like, the committee was not necessarily biased, but they just don't like the group of 5. They don't want to put them in. They don't want to, whatever. You had Coastal Carolina, you had BYU, and Cincinnati. I mean, look, we had a lot of teams, right, that had a good case for that 4th spot, right? I wouldn't put BYU or Cincinnati or Coastal Carolina or whatever over, a Notre Dame or an Oklahoma or whoever. Now, take records aside, let's say on a normal year, those are teams that are 1 loss or undefeated. Oh, well, Coastal Carolina's undefeated. They won every game. Who cares? They're Coastal Carolina. Who did they play? Who was on their schedule? Who was on their schedule? A&M is clearly the best 1-loss team this year. Right? Oh, so you're saying that Bama's better than Clemson? I'm not saying that. No. I'm saying the competition in which they played outside of the loss. Notre Dame played Louisville. They played Wake Forest. They played there. Compare that to Auburn. Compare that to Georgia and Florida. Compare that. Try to compare the ACC and the SEC, please. Please. Whatever. Look, it is what it is. Alabama's playing Notre Dame, right? And that's another thing, too, man. They were saying, but some people were saying, like, oh, it's because they would have had to play Bama and it would have been another... But, how do you know Bama won't blow out Notre Dame? I mean, I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying I don't. You don't know. It's tough to beat the same team twice in 1 year. It is. And sure, I'll sit here and say, like, Bama's better than A&M. Yeah, I mean, they blow them out like the 2nd or 3rd week of the season early on. I really don't. Look, again, I really don't care who got the 4th spot. Bama's playing Notre Dame in the Rose Bowl. That's it. That's final. It's over and done. Okay? But at the same time, I still have my thoughts on this. I mean, is this system broken with how we select the 4th team? You can select whoever you want for the top 2, the top 3, or whatever, but it's always chaos and drama with the 4th spot in the playoffs. And you always have 4 or 5 teams deserving of that spot. Hence, like this year. Alabama was a runner-up when they made it in at number 4 in 2017. Remember they played Clemson in the Sugar Bowl? That was the whole year with like second and 26, right? They shouldn't get in. They didn't even make it to their conference. Well, they had a loss to Auburn. Well, that loss to Auburn, I mean, that was, what, 12 points? I mean, so it wasn't like the 28. But either way, a loss is a loss, right? Blowout or no blowout, it's a loss. I want to get your thoughts on this. I just something's got to change, doesn't it? I mean, and again, I'm not going to sit here all throughout the playoffs watching these games or whatever and but I'm just going ahead and I'm just giving my opinions on it right now. Honestly, if it's Notre Dame, Alabama's playing instead of A&M, if it's Notre Dame, they got that spot. Look, it is who it is. They picked whoever, but at the same time, like I'm just sitting here trying to figure out real quick, like is it just broken? Like you pick a team who got blown out in their conference game over a team who didn't even make it, but yet ran the table, and their one losses to the number one team in the country in the toughest conference in the SEC. I don't know. Y'all get what I'm saying, right? And Jimbo Fisher in his press conference, I was hearing him, and Jimbo's a really good head coach. Seems like a really cool guy. I try to listen to his press conferences here or there. I try to listen to all kinds of head coaches' press conferences just to see what's going on with the teams. Man, he didn't even sound too butthurt. He said, "We're looking forward to North Carolina. That's who we're playing. That's who we're focused on." And I'm sitting there like, dude, I know off camera you're upset about this whole Notre Dame thing, right? Man, I don't know. Y'all let me know. Just let me know who should have got that fourth spot. It might not be Notre Dame or A&M. I don't know, but A&M was literally sitting there knocking on the door. They kept hyping it up, talking about A&M. Oh, they got one loss. It's Alabama, right? Their one loss is Alabama. The committee could put 2 SEC teams in. They put 2 ACC teams in. It is what it is. Does Notre Dame deserve it? In a way, yes. But at the same time, in my opinion, a team more deserving is someone like A&M. They should have clearly got that spot because of how they bounced back after that Alabama loss and the fact that they didn't get blown out in a conference championship game to a team they shouldn't have gotten blown out by, Notre Dame. Anyway, always want to get your thoughts on this. I mean, maybe there's a lot of people that are going to disagree with me. Maybe there's a lot of people that might agree with me. I don't know. Tell me how stupid I am because of this whole thing and stupid for sticking up to A&M, And again, I really, I don't care if they get in or not, but at the same time, when I see something like this and there's some controversy, I bring it to light. Anyway, oh man. It's craziness, man. It's craziness. Anyway, love all you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. Let me know what your thoughts are. Should A&M have gotten that spot over Notre Dame at least? That's what I was trying to get at. Over Notre Dame, right? There were quite a few teams that could have got the spot, but I don't know. A&M was sitting there knocking on the door, clearly, and the playoff committee almost opened that door up and said, "Oh, no, sorry. Notre Dame, yeah, come on in. Just lost your conference championship? It's okay. It's one loss." It's crazy. I don't understand it. I don't get it, but the teams are set. There's nothing you can do about it now. But expect some bowl preview videos pretty soon. as we get closer to bowl season here in a couple weeks. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Love all you guys. Roll Tide, roll. Have a good day.